Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Well, thank you everybody for coming along today. So I'm Denise Cosgrove, I'm the Chief Executive of Presbyterian Support Northern, and I'm really, really excited to be hosting this lecture series. So we're nearly all the way through, we've got a couple more to go, and we've been absolutely honoured and blessed by the presentations that we've had to date. We were talking about it before, about how each of the speakers has just added so much to our own knowledge and to our own practice in the organisation. And at the board meetings where some of our board members, at the meetings where some of the board have also come, we've been discussing what they've learnt in the lecture series that morning or otherwise. So it's been a great opportunity for us, and we're really proud to actually encourage this conversation at a national level around how we can improve child wellbeing. So first up, I want to acknowledge KPMG for providing this venue and for the food. So we've, again, been very pleased that they've come along and supported us. And that, but more importantly, I'd really like to announce and welcome our guest speaker today. So we're excited and delighted to have Aimee Kaio here today. And, you know, when you read someone's bio and you start getting exhausted and think, how could someone so young have done all that stuff? And then you're in awe and feeling a little bit like you're a bit of a slug yourself and not having achieved anything. So I was absolutely in awe when I read your bio. And from everything from having insulated 800 houses to having started social enterprises around things like the 1,000, first days for whānau and with children. It's an amazing story so far. And I think one of the key things for me is, someone said, you're way more than a biochemist who's turned a social entrepreneur. And in fact, the expression I really liked was that you're a community problem solver. So we're excited to hear your story today, and thank you so much for taking the time to join us.
Okay, mōrena tātou, ngā mihi mahana ki ngā mana whenua o i te rohi nei e Ngati whātua o Rakei, kai te mihi. E te rangatira Denise, tēnā koe. Ngā mihi mahana kia koutou katoa, tēnā rā tātou, katoa. I'm quite humbled to have been asked to speak in part of the series. When I looked at the lineup of speakers, I was like, oh my goodness, there's doctors and professors and all of these superwomen. So I am very honoured to have been asked to be part of the lecture series. As Denise said, I do consider myself as a community problem solver. Yes, and so today I'll take you through a few of the things that I have done in my life, and some of my learnings, and also some of the things I'm doing in my current role working with Ngāi Tahu. So, so just to start, ko waio, ko mō te pōhui te maunga, ko te moana, ko te ara kiwa te moana, ko tārere ki whenua uta te whenua, ko tahu pōtiki te tangata, ko te rawaroha te marae, ko kai tahu te iwi. Hei uri ahau no tūhaurangi Ngati whakaue me ngā pohi hoki. I am from Bluff. I've been born and raised in a small community of Bluff. This is our beautiful marae over here, te rawaroha in Tahu pōtiki. My whānau have been heavily involved in the marae environment. And I'm also very lucky to have whakapapa links to Te Arawa Waka, and my father is from Ngāpuhi. So tōku kāinga. So my heart is my home. As I mentioned before, been heavily involved with our marae community and the Bluff community as a whole. That picture in the middle, that is me on the right there at our opening of Te Rawaroha Marae in 1985. And on the left here, this is one of the other times we were practicing for something. Being the southernmost marae, we had a lot of manuhiri and whānau coming down during the 80s and the 90s, and especially during the Ngāi Tahu claim. And then on the right there is us again at the opening of our wharero in 2003. This picture over here, this was taken Christmas last year, and pretty much it is the offspring of that front row. I've also put in there some delicacies that are unique to my home, which is the tio, the oyster, the titi, the mutton bird, and blue cod. My heart and my soul and the purpose for everything that I do is my whānau. I'm married to this beautiful man here in the middle, Jason Harrison. And yeah, with he and my whānau, you know, Denise mentioned how does she do what she does? I just walk out the door and do it. On the right is my eldest daughter holding my youngest son. So she's turned 18 this year and shifted out of home. Breaks my heart, we miss her terribly. We're in Bluff and she's in Christchurch. And then I have a 14-year-old and a 12-year-old, Ali and a Maria, and our baby was a lovely surprise, and he is 5. Okay, so my kōrero this morning, the role of promoting work and entrepreneurship in small communities as part of the community ecosystem to enhance child wellbeing today and in the future. Okay, child wellbeing. I'll just take a few of our Prime Minister's words, is that she's making the commitment to ensure that New Zealand is the best place for all of our children to live. I've taken this image from her infographic for the draft child wellbeing strategy. So I'm sure that all of you in the room will be very familiar with the wellbeing domains. For the purposes of this kōrero, you know, entrepreneurship and promoting work in small communities is linked to primarily security and connectedness for whānau. So for today's kōrero, I'm going to focus on 3 key areas that research tells us, and from my own experience, are key ingredients for, you know, true community transformation, whānau transformation, and in the long run, child wellbeing. So we've got the entrepreneurial environment is key for small communities as a key platform for change and positive developments in community. So I'm going to keep talking about whānau transformation and community transformation. So that entrepreneurial environment is quite critical to have that in place for us to progress any form of transformation. Entrepreneurs, or an iwipreneur, they are change agents, and they are critical also to drive the economic activity, to create jobs and to enhance opportunities. And collaboration. For me, this is probably the most important. We need all the stakeholders at the table. So private, public, iwi community, everyone needs to be in the same waka, just so that we can, just to ensure, you know, that true whānau transformation. And it's also important to acknowledge small community challenges. So who in the room is from a small community or has lived in a small community? So what are some challenges you think that may arise when you're trying to move and shake with some key initiatives in the community?
Everybody knows everybody else's business.
Yes. Your business is my business. And we also have, you know, I've been here forever and you've been here for 2 seconds and all of that type of thing. So that's really important to acknowledge. I think it can be a really positive thing. You know, people are passionate about their community, but then it can also be, it's a challenge. It's a real challenge. So from experience, you know, it's really important that you're transparent from the word go. Keep consistent and constant communications about what you're doing, why you're doing it, and hopefully in the long run you get that community buy-in. I'm just going to shoot through this quickly. So I've got a lot of slides this morning, purely because I'm doing the lecture today and a lecture tomorrow, and there's 2 kind of different audiences. So I'm just trying to cover quite a bit. so that you all get something from this lecture. So the entrepreneurial environment, if child wellbeing is at the centre of all that you do in your community, it's really important to have that shared vision. So as I mentioned before, community, all coming together, and you all have that shared vision of why you are doing what you are doing. And a Ngāi Tahu example is everything that we do, whether it's in our paid employment or whether it's in voluntary stuff that we do at the marae, we put in practice our values. I'm sure you all do as well. So whakawhanaungatanga, manakitanga, kaitiakitanga, tohungatanga and rangatiratanga. The key elements, 8 ingredients for an entrepreneurial environment. So this is based on research and from my own experience. Leadership is key. For me, I believe leadership needs to come from the ground, from the community. It needs to be a local. You need to have a familial or some form of tie to place and people. Rangatahi and succession. It's really important that you take your youth with you on your journey. Some community initiatives can take decades. So, you need to think about succession planning. For your initiatives to be truly realised, you need the next ones coming through to take over. Capability and human resource. So when you're starting an entrepreneurial activity in a small community, your capability and human resource is usually voluntary and continues to be voluntary for some of us. It's really important to always acknowledge and recognise those people that are helping establish initiatives for community transformation. Education, this links into capability and leadership and supporting, bringing rangatahi through any type of workshop, training, education that you can get your hands on. It's really important to pull this in to part of your whole action plan. Mentors and networks. Now, they are extremely important. So again, local or regional or people who understand your dynamic and understand your small community in the region is really important. Financial resource, of course, we all need money to make things happen. And again, I emphasise collaboration is key. So these are the key components that we really need to have in place to form that solid foundation for any form of social enterprise or entrepreneurial activity in the community. When I started my first initiative in Bluff, early 20s, I didn't listen or didn't read or didn't research any of these key things, so it was a bit of a challenge, and hindsight is a beautiful thing because now I'm just like, wow, if I knew that, we would have made things happen a lot quicker. But this is for our younger ones that are coming through. I really push that you need to have this environment in place. Community aspirations and actions. I've just added that in there just to show the pipeline or the transition for community transformation or whānau transformation. So just an example in community, we want to empower our people, we want to empower our youth. Participation is key so that people have pride in their place, their identity and their belonging, and an outcome is community regeneration. And then it just keeps going. Other examples also are in whānau ora, Dr. Mason Jury's model of whakapiri, whakamarama and whakamana. And then Ngāi Tahu, we are just working at the moment on connecting our whānau, engaging our whānau to whatever engagement means for them, and then giving back is the reciprocity concept. So entrepreneurs or iwipreneurs, I'll just go back to what I mentioned before about iwiprenneurship, and values are at the basis of everything that we do. And in a nutshell, everything that we do is for our children today and our children tomorrow. So really to enhance child wellbeing. Collaboration. Even though I've got Te Rununga o Ngāi Tahu at the bottom, I've stolen Waikato Tainui's whakataukī. But this is actually my favourite. Mihi mea ka moemoe a aho anake. Mihi mea ka moemoe a tātou, ka taia e tātou. If I dream alone. If we dream together, we can succeed. So this is from Princess Te Puia Herangi. A leader, an entrepreneur in her own right. An amazing lady, but this whakataukī really resonates with me about collaboration in small communities, organisations, wherever we journey. So policy and implementation. So this is kind of the Wellington part of the presentation, but I will touch on current Māori economic development strategy and policy through He Kaio Kuringa, which is relevant to entrepreneurship and promoting work in small communities. Also, tribal economies Ngāi Tahu. I program manage tribal economies for Ngāi Tahu. We have a lean team of 8, and our role is to support regional economic development with papatapu Rununga and whānau across the Ngāi Tahu takiwā. And then I will talk about a real life example of a completed and still current entrepreneurship initiative from a small community, the Bluff Healthy Homes and Research Project. Awaru Developments, it's the next phase of what we're doing in our small community. And then I'll touch on some of the things that we do in an iwi context across the regions. So He Kaio Kuringa, this is a Crown Māori strategy for economic development. Erere, which means to leap, run and fly and to take action. These are the 5 streams that they are focusing at the moment. Again, all linked to whānau transformation, that community transformation, all for a well family and child wellbeing. So iwi and regional developments. I'll just run through this. You can ask any questions about Ngāi Tahu if you want at the end of the session. So Te Rununga o Ngāi Tahu was established after the Ngāi Tahu settlement in 1997, and from there 18 papatapu Rununga were established. So papatapu Rununga are not a traditional construct, they are a contemporary construct to manage and be the kaitiaki of areas across the South Island. We have Ngāi Tahu Holdings Corporation, an amazing group of subsidiaries that make the tribe money and have invested well for the tribe. We are currently a $1.4 billion organisation with a membership of 61,000 people. So in my team, tōkana te ao, tribal economies, we are the drivers for data strategy across Te Rununga Group. So in a nutshell, that is to ensure we are well informed, we know who our people are, where our people are, what the demographic looks like across the Ngāi Tahu takiwā. And this helps inform our decision making and our strategic direction going forward. As I mentioned before, we focus on regional economic development, primarily based around land and water utilisation of assets and capability of our people. We also look at investment pipeline pipelines in the regions, what are some investments that our people can invest in the regions for a Ngāi Tahu footprint. It's the whole identity and belonging thing. If an example is Invercargill are looking at a inner city development, and they've come to iwi and said, look, we would really like Ngāi Tahu to be part of this. There's a high Maori and Ngāi Tahu population in this region. How can we make the inner city more appealing to have that belonging and ownership type factor with Maori? And then we've got our regional small and medium enterprise ecosystem, Puna Pākahi. So I'll just touch on that. So our Puna Pākahi program is about inspiring Ngāi Tahu in business. This comes back to that entrepreneurial environment. So this has been set up to support our entrepreneurs, our Ngāi Tahu in business, our papatapu runanga, whānau who want to move and shake in whatever direction they want. We support them with mentors and networks, a little kickstart financial resource to get them going, leadership support. We invite them to capability workshops, try and provide as much education as we can in the regions. We've got, you can't really see our partners down below there. Māori Women's Development and Pautama play quite a significant role in supporting whānau with, workshops, networking events and things like that. Te Pūtahitanga, we've got a very close relationship with them. Of course, they're the whānau order commissioning agency for the South Island. And they've got a very strong focus on whānau enterprise as well. And who else do we have in there? The Regional Business Partner Network, Te Puni Kōkiri. We've got a very good relationship with Te Puni Kōkiri, and we co-present the business clinics around the motu. And then we've also got the Callahans, the Vodafone zones, and there's a whole other lot up there. So the whakatauki for this program is tōkana te raki kia tū, tōkana te raki kia ora. So rising the horizon of opportunity for Ngāi Tahu whānui. Oh, that's a crazy slide. So for our team, this is basically how our team works. We have a whole lot of projects in the research pipeline, a whole lot of projects in the development pipeline, and then we try and get it through to commercialisation. One example is Ngāi Tahu Pounamu. So this, this is quite a good scheme. We extract the pounamu, we support our Ngāi Tahu carvers in their businesses and in their practices to ensure that they're producing quality product. They purchase raw stone from our papatapu runanga, and then they also purchase barcodes, and the barcodes they authenticate where that stone comes from. So whatever piece they make from that piece of stone, it gets a wee barcode. They can either sell it privately or it's part of the Ngāi Tahu Pounamu catalogue. So currently we have 84 carvers in the system, and we are getting close to 200 retailers that are buying this product. Aimee Kaio, I was talking with Denise earlier about social enterprise and the challenges for whānau and small communities to get social enterprise, or organisations to get social enterprise working. So what we're doing within Tribal Economies at the moment is trialling some platforms and approaches where Te Runanga o Ngāi Tahu, they create the platform for whānau to plug into. So Aimee Kaio, for all of our producers of kai in the regions, at head office we've created kind of a marketplace, kind of like a distribution place, support for whānau in terms of their packaging, the soil testing, the other innovative ways of packaging their kai for market. Yeah, that's one example. Another example is takiwā tourism. So we are working with whānau in the regions to develop their cultural tourism products. So at Te Rununga o Ngāi Tahu, we've created the platform where whānau can plug into a booking system. We've got direct market to inbound operators through our Ngāi Tahu tourism links. And we've paired them up with mentors who are experts in the cultural tourism or small tourism product sector. We also look at other types of, I was going to say weird and wonderful, but other types of species for development. So gentians is quite an interesting one. We have, this is actually a nursery in Gore at Hokanui Rununga, and they have product ready for export, which is quite exciting. But this has been quite a big research program of around 5 years, and so the development and commercialisation and export of it is, we're really glad to be here. Taramia, so this has also been a research project. So taramia was traditionally used as a perfume. Whānau used to pick the root part and bundle it up in a little, just in like a little package and then tie it around your neck. So it was their form of perfume. So we have been researching for 2 to 3 years the properties of the oil. 2 Christmases ago we harvested the taramia and extracted the oil, and this summer we launched a small perfume in the Ngāi Tahu tourism shop. So it's called Mea. It came out before the Smear Your Mea campaign. But that's going really well, and a Papatapu Rununga has invested in that just to, they've taken the gamble and thought, we believe in this product. So there's lots of other interesting and exciting products that we think will come out of the Taramia initiative. We also support Papatapu Rununga and whānau in the honey industry, freshwater crayfish, algae and berry fruit. It's pretty difficult down south, it's quite cold. But we are looking at berry fruit as a potential option for our land assets. So I'll just quickly go through these. So this is an example of the business model that we use within tribal economies with whānau and Papatapu Rununga. So we provide industry expertise, business support, and for potential investment with our Rununga, Ngāi Tahu whānau and Ngāi Tahu landowners. Those are just hives, and looks kind of like a distorted Australia, but I think that's the bottom of the South Island. And then it comes through to, we support Ngāi Tahu Rununga whānau and landowners to generate economic benefits through leveraging Te Rununga assets, expertise, infrastructure and support mechanisms. So it's just another example of, at tribal economies level, we're just trying to create the platform for whānau to get into industry. And then we have, we're the owner of Watson & Son, so we can either send the honey to Watson & Son, have an agreement with them for them to get to market, or we can go to open market. We, whānau. Again, just another example of, if there's Ngāi Tahu land assets, we do the site appraisals and land assessment. If there's no planting needed, just goes through this pipeline. Or we look at establishing planting so that then we can get to the point of putting hives on that land. And that's just another example with the freshwater coda. And this is our land to brand model for whānau to plug into as well. So Awaroa Developments Limited, this is, so in Bluff, the Papatapu Rununga in Bluff along the southern coast is Awaroa. And so we've got Te Rawaroha Marae, as I showed you before, earlier, became the base for our Papatapu Rununga Awaroa after settlement. And we have been, we've been very privileged. When I was younger, so in my early 20s, we were strongly encouraged to move and shake and to do stuff in the community. So from there, we started. We've got an Awaroa Social and Health Services. We've got a bilingual early childhood centre, which is based on the marae. We've got an oyster boat for oyster season. We've also got Awaroa Study Centre, which provides a computer suite and tuition for everybody in the community. And we've had Awaroa Research and Development. So I co-founded Awaroa Research and Development in the year 2001. And the purpose of Awaroa Research and Development was to be the conduit, I guess, between the community and scientists and government and others that wanted to come and do stuff with the Maoris. So yeah, we were pretty much we were the interpreter, if you like. We had scientists and academics and government coming and saying, we want to consult with you on this, and this, and our whānau just didn't know what on earth they were talking about. So a colleague and I set up Awaroa Research and Development. We kind of done the initial consultation phase, asked all the questions, what is this about, and then we would hold whānau hui, community hui, and just explain to them, okay, whānau, so this is what the government or whoever are proposing, what does this look like, and what are the impacts for our community, and what do you want to do about it? So from Awaroa Research and Development, we supported a lot of community initiatives, quite a few social enterprises. I'm going to talk about Bluff Healthy Homes in a minute. And our latest development from Awaroa Research and Development, lots of developments, is Awaroa Developments Limited. So this was established in 2016. It actually came about because Te Pūtahitanga, the South Island Whānau Water Commissioning Agency, came to us and said, look, we are running a community development trial, and we need another. We've just had 2 communities pull out because they don't feel that they're ready. Would you be willing to do something in your community? Awaroa being Awaroa, like, yes, of course. We've got plenty of time. So we created Awaroa. At the start it was called Dora Seed, so we were planting the seed for a all-of-community approach to form a hub-like structure to inspire enterprise, to inspire innovation, and to inspire empowerment, participation, and to inspire community leaders. So this is still going today. We've got a core group of 9 up-and-coming leaders who are actually running it. 2 of them are employed, and the others are working on a either contractual or predominantly voluntary basis. Us directors and advisors and mentors and all of that type of thing, we're volunteers. And we're looking at the moment at tourism, food sustainability, innovation of using local assets to market, and some commercial ventures on the thing. So we'll just watch a little bit of a video.
Seed is for Bluff initiatives to get Bluff community thriving.
That's what we're hoping to do here in Bluff, grow our community, our whānaus, employment opportunities.
Just getting people back here, getting tourists back into Bluff, getting the young involved in the community, creating community projects to keep us here.
Had quite a large hui with about 50 or so whānau, Maori whānau come, and yeah, we established probably, I think at that original time was about 80 or so different activities or wants and needs in the community.
We've chosen 3 commercial projects, first one being Scavenger City, and we have marine cosmetics, and our third one is cultural tourism.
We came up with Scavengers concept, and it's a bit of a hybrid between, it's gaming made real, but a hybrid between a sort of ski scenario and first person gaming. Ours is, Scavengers is about utilising wasteland, so the old Bluff dump.
On one side you've got the big wall, that surrounds you, about 8 to 10 feet tall, and the other side you can see a bit of the water, the moana coming from the west and the wind that comes through, so it's the environment that's also setting the scene as well.
We're actually finally sitting down and saying, alright, what is this going to look like? What are our scavengers going to look like? What do we want our arena to look like? And getting a better picture of it. To me, it also represents a turning point, because I think one thing that the Seed program sort of aims at delivering is a self-determining aspect for the community.
So my role is with the Oyster Cosmetics. We have created an idea to use the waste of the oyster shells. As the oyster shells are such a thriving business down here for season, but there is waste of the shell that doesn't get used. So it was to create something that would help the environment without having to throw the shells out, and also using waste product at zero cost.
So the oyster shell is ground up to like a powder. It's all organic and it's upcycled from the oyster shell. That's what makes the skin like soft and gets rid of scars and stuff like that.
Business going forward for the young ones to not only engage in but also run from within our marae and community.
We've got a 7-year roadmap, and it's ever changing, so we're adding to that all the time.
We want to sort of take our town back, we want to build it back up again. We want to make it a positive, healthy place to live, grow up and raise a family.
So we worked with a man called Peter Salmon, and he started Seed New Zealand, and he was amazing, getting the whānau together. And so yeah, just imagine this, it probably is that big in real life, but it's a lot clearer. Pulled the community together, and we just plotted, this is a 7-year plan of what we would like to see and achieve in the community. So yeah, Peter Salmon, if you ever need anyone to work in a community to pull together those initial stages, yeah, he's really great. So I guess Awarua and Maori being Maori, we have touched on a few things from the year 1 slide, and we've also got running at the moment something from year 7. So we're not keeping up with the plan. The plan's keeping up with us. I need to do a wee plug for the girls. Please watch out for the Awarua Cosmetics range, which we hope to be on the shelf this coming summer. Another initiative that we're looking at in the Bluff community at the moment is Bluff Oyster World. So this is just some ideas that we've been researching and exploring. We were lucky to gain some MB funding as part of the Southern Regional Development Strategy to do a feasibility on a tourism and a commercial venture in Bluff. We have around 300,000 visitors that come to Bluff each year, and they pretty much come to Bluff. They may stop at the wharf to have a look. They go around the point to the famous signpost, and then they leave again. So, or they jump on the ferry to go to Stewart Island. So creating a venture or another activity for whānau and visitors to stop at is, we see as being quite important to another element for whānau transformation, to get involved in accommodation, food, other smaller tourism products. So this is kind of what we're planning. So this is our wharf at the moment, and we hope to have something on the waterway, but we're just having discussions with surveyors at the moment. It could be a bit of a task to build out on a man-made road that's there at the moment. It's not very stable. These are just some concept designs that we're looking at. Yeah, so this will be quite, I don't know if any of you have been to Bluff, but this will be quite wow for the town. Okay, I'll now touch on a project that has been, so Oyster World, Awaroa Cosmetics, Scavenger City, all the other initiatives that team are working on, that's in development. So I'd just like to touch on Bluff Healthy Homes project, which has been completed and is still continuing in another form. So Bluff Healthy Homes, we started that in 2002. Why we started that was because our children, our aunties, our uncles, our cousins, it seemed like everyone in the community had respiratory issues. So asthma was really high. Attendance to work and to school was really quite poor. So we thought, gosh, how can we, help improve the status of these health conditions? So through Awaroa Research and Development, we were doing a consultation piece with NIWA, and one of the guys in that team, Dr. Guy Penny, he was working on a warm homes project in Waihi, and he said, with all of his trips down to Bluff, your housing stock is pretty poor and it's really freezing down here. Have you insulated your houses? So none of us really knew the purpose and the role of insulation. So we got into a Bluff Healthy Homes project. The purpose of it was to improve indoor air quality, which would help respiratory conditions. We insulated 580 Bluff homes, and during the Bluff Healthy Homes project we also insulated other Southland region homes as well. So in total in that 3-year period we did insulate 800 homes. I've got quality products here. So the major challenge for us, back at that time, the subsidised insulation product with government was like that tin foil stuff. So Bluff, the weather is horizontal rain, really torrential rain and wind, and so that tin foil was basically tin foil breaking and just had no impact at all on the homes. So we really had to not fight government. We worked collaboratively with government to get subsidies for quality products. So this product here called Polynum, it was quite a thick form of foil, and on the inside it was like bubble wrap. Oh, that keeps slipping. And it was double layered. So we actually imported that from Israel, and then we also had to negotiate with government that we wanted this product. So we done a lot of research with some people in Wellington around the importance of covering the whole roof, not just in between the beams, and looked at the amount of energy and heat you lose through those areas that you don't insulate. So yes, big learning curve for us was working with government so that they can support the greater vision for a community initiative. We educated 800 Bluff whānau on having a healthy home. Now, to buy into the scheme, to have your home insulated for free, you had to take part in the education. So we had educators who would go into the home, talk to whānau about the purpose of insulation in your home, the purpose of ventilation, you know, don't lock your house up, leave your windows open just a little bit. And also looked at, you know, seals on your fridge and on your freezer. Curtains, windows, all of that type of thing. We gathered a lot of information for research. This was another challenge for this project. We couldn't get research funding. At that time it was really, really hard to gain any form of funding to engage a researcher to do the action research. But we gathered a lot of data with whānau permission. We done pre and post health and wellbeing research, and also pre and post indoor air quality. So the indoor air quality, we did work with the Wellington School of Medicine, He Kainga Ora, with Dr. Philippa Chapman-Howden. And yeah, she was awesome. She really supported our project from the get-go. As I mentioned before, you know, the three critical elements for entrepreneurial activity in small communities is the entrepreneurial environment. So we were really extremely lucky that Awaroa became the backbone for this project. The entrepreneurs that came from our Awaroa Research and Development, massive team of 3, and then collaborators. So we had private, public and community in there. So our private partner was New Zealand Aluminium Smelters. Now, if we didn't have them, the project wouldn't have happened at all. So they supported us with establishing an operation, health and safety, training, gave some financial contribution, but their in-kind contribution was so valued. We also had backing from the Community Trust of Southland and J.R. Mackenzie Trust. J.R. Mackenzie Trust were just amazing. They believed in us from the start. You know, this is high risk. It was pie in the sky. We were having discussions with government about, you know, your 80-cent subsidy is going to do nothing for Bluff. We need $3. And then, yeah, local government came on board in year 2. So here's just some pictures. So we've had Awaroa Research through to Bluff Healthy Homes. That keeps jumping. And that's our original team up there of installers, educators, and Samaria, our manager. These are the guys installing our first type of product. And that's Stacey, one of our educators, with our education kit. So that picture at the top there is Bob from New Zealand Aluminium Smelters, Samaria, and a politician. Yeah, consultation, education, marae whānau, in the schools, with our kaumātua kuia, our babies at Early Childhood Centre were involved. The whole community got behind a whole energy momentum. And this is us having a community consultation day as well. So here, these pictures crack me up because these boys are now adults and fathers and things like that. So they were actually the mischief kids in the local school. So we said we'll take them, you know, for a couple of mornings a week, and they can, you know, be involved. So they were involved in painting the Healthy Homes mural on our container. So for Awaroa Research and Bluff Healthy Homes, this was our first truck and our first office, and yeah, this is where we stored everything in that one container. That's just all the volunteers in the community coming and helping and putting a deck on our office. I'm glad you can't see that very well because there's lots of hazards and health and safety things going on. So as a result of Bluff Healthy Homes, Awaroa Synergy was formed. We are now the leading and the biggest insulation, clean heat, LED lighting, solar panel and small wind turbine provider. We've employed, over the past decade, we've employed over 60 staff. And we've got a lot of good stories from there. So we've had a lot of our youth come through and work and be installers. We've trained them up, we've helped them with their licenses, their fines, their training, and we've got some of our boys that have bought homes and they're engaged in their kids' schooling and in sports, and it's kind of that reciprocity thing now. But also the beauty of this project is that, you know, it's rewarding and it makes our teams feel good because they're making homes warmer and healthier and safer. Even though we don't do formally the education component, our guys, everybody in the Awaroa Synergy team still educate the community and educate the homeowners about the healthy home. So again, I'd just like to reiterate the three important components from my experience and research tells us that the entrepreneurial environment, entrepreneurs of course, and collaboration is key to what you're trying to achieve in a community. So promoting work and entrepreneurship in small communities enables whānau to exercise self-determination, tino rangatiratanga, pride, empowerment, positive participation in your community. So promoting work and entrepreneurship in small communities enhances whānau ability to meet their social and environmental needs, thus contributing to a healthy home in whānau. Again, my two favourite whakatauki, if I dream alone, if we dream together we can succeed, and for us and our children after us. Tēnā rā tātou katoa.
Te aroha, te whakapono, te rangi mari e tātou e.
Kia ora, Rini. And this is my bestie from high school and university. We were good Catholic girls.
Aimee, clearly you've been an agent of change. Did you meet inertia and resistance, and how did you work to overcome that initially to be able to do the things that you've been able to do? Okay, so I had my own internal resistance to being a change agent. I actually fought it for quite a few years. I thought, I'll just go and work in a bank, not just go work in a bank, or a 9-to-5 type of job, but I kept being brought back to the marae and the community, and it was actually very rewarding for me to make change for the community. So other resistance has been, those small community challenges that I talked about. And a key thing that I live by is that relationships are key. So you need to understand people in your community or people that you're working with, and they also need to understand you and where you're coming from. So relationships and communication is key, being very transparent about what you're doing, and just being a consistent and constant communicator of all that you do, especially in community development. Yeah. There shouldn't be any sensitivities in what you're doing if it's community development. I hope that answered your question. Yes.
Hi, Aimee.
So a big part of what I'm interested in is a question of geographic scale. So obviously you work in terms of Bluff. So you talked in terms of like working in Bluff in a small community, but a lot of the work we do at PSN involves big cities. You know, how do you sort of scale up those really localized, awesome initiatives you're doing and work with some of those challenges, in your opinion?
Yeah, so we had this discussion last night actually, and I think within any big city or town or wherever you are, there are community groups, and you do have a tie or some form of link or connection to a community within where you live. So I think it really it is doable. I'm a bit of a philosopher. I feel that iwi and hapu and marae have quite a strong role to play in the regions and in cities and in bigger areas. You know, Maori, we have that tie through whakapapa, through genealogy, so, and it's intergenerational. You know, everything we do, we look forward and it's intergenerational. So we can really provide a backbone or a foundation for any type of social enterprise, cultural enterprise, whatever you want to call it. And with the demographic of Aotearoa today, we really do need to do it together. I think iwi have a strong role to support community development.
The work I do is in some small rural communities, and I totally get the relationship and the transparency and consistency in the communication, but some of the things that they're so busy trying just to keep their head above water. And it's trying to work out how we can best help them swim better. And what are those things? And we've tried some tracks and different tacks, and it hasn't quite worked, and so we keep sort of trying again. So is there anything you could say, any, sort of wisdom or some strategies that we could try that would really help the communities we're working, with? We're working on the periphery. It's not about, hi, look at us, but really supporting the work that they're doing. So any keys that you could give us?
So down home in our rural communities, this is just an example, we've got transient families coming in and out, whether it's for sharing or farming or whatever. And with that, there's a lot of health and education and social issues. So I kind of touched on it before about Te Rununga o Ngati Tahu providing the platform or foundation for whānau to plug into. So I really do think that there is a role for organisations or, local government partnering with an organisation to kind of cement it as something, whether it's a physical building or a program or a person or a something, so that rural communities can connect to. Like there's doesn't need to be a physical thing. Down home they do try to, they have in place, you've got your community workers or it's attached to a school or something. I really think it's that connection and bringing them together, but you need something to bring them together to help through that.
Thank you very much for your speech, and I'll come back to that in a minute. There were lots of really key outtakes for us, and particularly those three areas around entrepreneurial environment, the iwipreneurs and entrepreneurs, and the collaboration. And I think that is a key thing for us, as well as how do you support and initiatives to flourish that you're not leading or driving, so that they come from the ground. So that was really, really important. You are a true community problem solver, And we've really appreciated your huge generosity of spirit in sharing your story with us today. And I know that there's plenty more that, as Anne said, she'll be asking you, and others will be after we take the break. So I do really want to acknowledge and thank you. It's been fantastic. Thank you. And thank you all for coming along today and making the time, and particularly for KPMG for providing this venue for us. Also want to thank my own team, our team there, Amber. I know you've had some technology issues there, and we'll resolve those by tomorrow for you. And for John, who's not here, but he has been absolutely instrumental in getting this whole lecture series off the ground. You'll see on your seats that we've got 2 more speakers in Auckland. So we're very, very fortunate. Next week we have Dr. Mina Lazelle, who is coming over from Oxford University, and that will be really interesting, I'm sure. And then in Auckland, we get the honour of having the Minister to close the series on the 21st. So I do invite you to come along there. She tells me she's going to announce some new things, so that's always good. Always can pull a crowd. And we are obviously videoing these, and on the website shortly you'll see the full video of the session, plus some little tiny, a smaller one, so you can watch that in 5 minutes, plus the presentation. So thank you again for all coming along, and please enjoy the rest of your day.